I'm National Weather Service meteorologist Jared Highland Phoenix with an update on Tropical Storm K. Was once a hurricane, has been downgraded to a tropical storm, and the reason for that, cooler waters and some interaction with land, as this tropical storm is right along the coastline of Baja tonight. That's good news in terms of the impacts on that coastline of Baja. For us, it really doesn't make much of a difference because we're more concerned about all the moisture that's spinning northward out of the tropics on the eastern side of this weather system. And you can see all of the cloud cover covering much of Baja and well up into Sonora and California, as well as Arizona this evening. So here's the latest from the Hurricane Center. Tropical storm, again, 70-mile-per-hour winds, pushing toward the north-northwest at 14 miles per hour. It's going to hug the coast and stay offshore of San Diego over the next 2 and 3 days as it eventually becomes non-tropical. Here is one forecast radar interpretation of several models kind of averaged together. Notice the repeated rounds of rain that move into Imperial, San Diego, Riverside, Yuma counties especially. This is going to be Friday morning through Saturday morning before winding down for the second half of the weekend. It's where these rain areas stay for the longest amount of time that we start to get concerned about flooding, and that's why a flood watch is in effect along the Colorado Valley and points west. That red shaded area on the map there is where we have a moderate risk of flash flooding. That means a 40% chance of flash flooding occurring within 25 miles of any given location in that red zone. So you folks in Imperial County, El Centro, Salton City, even down toward the southeast into Yuma, are in that red shaded zone. And that is, of course, where we're expecting some of the heaviest rain. Some of this rain is also going to be enhanced because we're going to see a lot of wind energy coming up against the San Diego County mountains that forces the air upward, which, as air rises in this very, very warm and unstable environment with all the moisture in place, that's going to allow the rain to also pick up in intensity, especially in western parts of Imperial County, close to Ocotillo. So another thing to keep in mind with this weather system. Our current forecast in terms of most likely rainfall, 1.5 to 2 inches for El Centro, heavier to the west, closer to Ocotillo. Yuma, 1/2 inch to 1 inch. 0.2 to 0.5 in Phoenix. You can see the entire map is covered in some shade of green, but that doesn't mean that all areas are going to see rain. In fact, some areas in the eastern half of our forecast region, so Phoenix and points east, will not see rain. It's going to be more scattered the farther east you travel and more widespread off to the west and southwest. If you're planning for what would be the reasonable worst case scenario, and what I mean by that is a 10% chance of the rainfall totals getting up to these levels, this would be the highest in scenario. 2 to 3 inches Yuma, 3 to 4 inches El Centro, 2 to 3 inches at Joshua Tree National Park. Again, only a 10% chance of the totals you see on your screen occurring. And it's not going to occur over the entire map. Let's go back a frame. This is the current forecast. So what we're saying here is, on an isolated basis, if the rain stays in one place for too long, these are some of the amounts that could occur. And it's in those areas where flash flooding could be more of an issue. So we're going to be monitoring for any of the areas here that see those heavier totals, around that 10% chance of occurring, to again be monitoring for flash flood warnings to be issued and impacts for those locations. One other thing, we do have a marginal risk of severe weather. Tropical cyclones have a lot of wind shear with them in the low levels of the atmosphere, and we also have a very, very low cloud ceiling, and sometimes when thunderstorms developing in that environment, they can produce isolated tornadoes. It's only a 2% chance, and it's only for those areas shaded in dark green, not the light green area, the dark green area on that top left map. So Yuma County, parts of Riverside County, San Diego County, as well as Imperial County. And this is going to be on Friday into Friday evening. A wind advisory is in effect for much of Yuma and Imperial counties, as well as Riverside counties, for wind gusts that could be 25 to 45 miles an hour. Notice in that darker tan shade, west into San Diego County and farther into western Riverside County. In the higher terrain, that's where wind gusts could be over 60 miles per hour, and a high wind warning is in effect. In those locations, if you're on I-8, for example, and I-10 traveling toward LA and San Diego, that's where you could see some real impacts from wind from this particular system. For us, it's mainly going to be a concern from very heavy rain, though. Here's the bottom line, what we're expecting. K is going to hug that coastline, the Pacific side of Baja, over the next couple of days and then curve farther west. As it does so, a lot of moisture is pulled northward, giving that heavy rain potential, primarily to southwest Arizona and southeast California. Some of the rainfall could be in the record territory, and that's because we are talking about heavy rain occurring over the driest part of our forecast area. Increased clouds will also bring cooler temperatures for these areas as well, much of the area. Highs below 100 degrees, and where the rain is heaviest, highs could hold in the 80s. Again, along the Colorado Valley and points west on Friday and Saturday. So we'll keep you posted on the impacts from K in our area. You can also follow the Weather Service offices off to our north and west as well, places like San Diego and Los Angeles, Oxnard, as we're going to also be seeing the impacts closer to the coastline of California with this particular tropical system. It's a rare event with heavy rain expected, so please stay safe out there and we'll keep you updated. Have a great night.